There are dogs that make people smile. And then there are dogs that make people stop and stare in complete awe. This is the Tibetan Mastiff. Massive, powerful, and covered in thick, lion-like fur, the Tibetan Mastiff looks less like an ordinary dog and more like an ancient guardian from another world. With its enormous size, deep eyes, and calm but intimidating presence, this legendary breed has become one of the most expensive and respected dogs on Earth. But behind that giant appearance lies something even more fascinating. A spirit built from loyalty, courage, and centuries of survival in some of the harshest mountains in the world. The Tibetan Mastiff originated high in the Himalayan mountains of Tibet, where temperatures could become freezing and dangerous. For hundreds of years, these dogs were raised by nomadic tribes and monks to guard villages, livestock, and monasteries from wolves, snow leopards, and intruders. And unlike many dogs bred simply for companionship, the Tibetan Mastiff was bred to protect. Even today, that protective instinct remains deeply rooted inside them. A fully grown Tibetan Mastiff is enormous. Males can stand around 66 to 76 centimeters tall and weigh between 45 to over 70 kilograms. Some exceptional dogs can become even larger. Their thick double coat gives them a majestic appearance, especially around the neck, where the fur resembles a lion's mane. The most common colors include black, golden brown, red, and combinations with tan markings. And when a Tibetan Mastiff walks slowly toward you, it feels less like meeting a pet and more like meeting a king. But despite their intimidating appearance, Tibetan Mastiffs are often calm, quiet, and deeply observant. They do not bark constantly without reason. They prefer watching silently, carefully studying the people and environment around them. And that silence somehow makes them even more powerful. Unlike highly energetic dogs that constantly seek attention, Tibetan Mastiffs are naturally independent thinkers. They are intelligent enough to understand commands quickly, but proud enough to decide whether they truly want to obey. Because of this, training a Tibetan Mastiff requires patience, trust, and strong leadership. You cannot treat them like ordinary dogs. A Tibetan Mastiff respects confidence, not control. Living with one feels almost like sharing your home with a giant, ancient guardian. Sometimes they quietly sit at the entrance of the house for hours, calmly watching everything around them like silent protectors. And even though they may appear serious most of the time, Tibetan Mastiffs can also be incredibly gentle with the people they love. With their families, they are loyal beyond words. Many owners say their Tibetan Mastiff always watches over children carefully, staying nearby like a bodyguard. They may not constantly demand affection, but their love is deep, protective, and unwavering. And perhaps that quiet loyalty is what makes this breed so special. Another thing that fascinates people is their incredible confidence. A Tibetan Mastiff does not panic easily. It moves slowly, calmly, and with dignity. Even in unfamiliar situations, they often maintain a composed and fearless attitude. That calmness comes from generations of survival in dangerous mountain environments where fear could mean death. But owning such a powerful dog also comes with great responsibility. Tibetan Mastiffs require proper training, socialization, and space. Because of their strong guarding instincts, they can become territorial if not raised correctly. They are not ideal for every owner. This is a breed that needs patience, leadership, experience, and understanding. Without proper care, their stubborn nature can become difficult to manage. And then there is their fur. Their massive coat is beautiful, thick, and luxurious. But it also sheds heavily during seasonal changes. During shedding season, it can feel as if an entire second dog is falling out of their body. Despite their giant size, Tibetan Mastiffs are surprisingly clean animals. They often groom themselves carefully and dislike dirty environments. Their eating habits can also be quite unique. Some Tibetan Mastiffs eat calmly and slowly, almost with royal dignity, while others can become surprisingly picky about food. Because of their large size, they require high-quality nutrition to maintain healthy joints, muscles, and energy levels. And like many giant breeds, Tibetan Mastiffs can experience certain health problems during their lives. Some of the most common issues include hip dysplasia, joint problems, thyroid conditions, eye disorders, and obesity if not exercised properly. Because of their thick coat, extremely hot weather can also be difficult for them. Cool environments, regular grooming, exercise, and routine veterinary care are important to keep them healthy and comfortable. Fortunately, with proper care and a healthy lifestyle, many Tibetan Mastiffs live between 10 to 14 years. Over the years, the Tibetan Mastiff became famous around the world not only for its appearance, but also for its incredible value. Some rare Tibetan Mastiffs have reportedly sold for hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars, making headlines as some of the most expensive dogs in history. But people who truly understand this breed know something important. Its real value is not money, it is presence. The Tibetan Mastiff carries a kind of energy that few animals possess. Strength without chaos, power without fear, silence without weakness. When one sits quietly beside you, you do not simply feel protected, you feel safe. In today's world, where so many things feel loud and temporary, the Tibetan Mastiff represents something ancient and steady. A loyal guardian, a fearless companion, a quiet giant with the heart of a protector. Maybe that is why people around the world are so fascinated by this legendary breed. Because the Tibetan Mastiff is not just a dog. It is a living symbol of strength, loyalty, and dignity wrapped in fur.